I'm not giving you writing hacks. Hacks are silly. There's no way to fast track your progress as a writer. It is a long and arduous journey that requires an ungodly amount of work, time, and effort. So to help you do that and further dissuade you from looking for hacks, I'm going to share with you 3 brutally difficult writing exercises that will take a long time to do, but will actually make you a better writer long term. If there's someone in your life who would like to get better at writing, why not share this video with them? You can even fool them with the title like I fooled you. Remember how much fun that was? Alright, the first exercise is designed to get you thinking about sentences. There's always more than one way to write a sentence, and it can take some experimentation to find out what the best sentence for a given situation is. So what I want you to do is take a scene from your novel and take every sentence in that scene and write 5 to 10 different versions of it. A version of the sentence that conveys the same meaning but is a different sentence. You can do this by changing the verb, shifting around the structure of the sentence, maybe describing the object in a different way. Maybe the sentence becomes an action beat after a line of dialogue. Whatever it is, so long as the same meaning is conveyed, but the structure of the sentence is different. Now, a lot of those sentences are going to suck. Some of them may be passive, some may not be as clear, some may not have great rhythm, some may not have as strong of a verb. But let's invert that thinking. How likely is it that the sentence in that scene right now is the best possible sentence? It's equally possible that there is something better out there that you haven't found yet. The point of this exercise is for you to realize some of your writing habits, the kind of sentences that you lean on, and what other possibilities may exist out there. When you edit, sometimes we get pigeonholed into certain things. We don't consider all of the alternatives. We stick with what we've written already and don't think about how it can be changed. If you have a broader view of how you can approach each individual sentence, then you'll have a wider toolkit to draw from, and this will improve your writing. You'll see more possibilities every time you approach a scene. But you've got to figure out all of these possibilities in order for that to happen, and you have to practice at creating these different possibilities. This is a great exercise if you really want to blast the prose in a scene and try a bunch of different angles. Also remember that how good a sentence is depends on what sentence precedes it and what sentence follows it. A perfectly fine or even great sentence can suck if it becomes repetitive based on the language around it. The next exercise first requires breaking down your novel by what's known as a French scene. And no, a French scene is not the type of French scene you're thinking of. A French scene is anytime you have a change in personnel in a scene. I did not plan that. So anytime a character leaves or enters a scene, that's considered a different French scene, even if there's no scene break. This is ultimately a theater term, and it's a little bit more clear in a stage play when a character leaves the stage or enters the stage. In a novel, it's a little less clear, but just do your best. Once you have each scene delineated, list the characters in each scene, including the viewpoint character. Now for, I don't know, some arbitrary number of those scenes, say 5 or 10 of them, I want you to write a different version of that scene from the perspective of each character in that scene. If you've got a giant battle with 10 Roman legions in it, then this is obviously going to take a while, but just bear with me. Alright, so the 4,094th spearman in the line looked to his right and to his left, and then thought to himself, I don't know about you, but I have, at certain times in the past, not given a lot of thought to the viewpoint character that I pick for a scene, and this is a mistake. There's a strong possibility that another character could enhance that scene, and if you haven't tried writing the scene from their perspective, you'll never know. Now, sometimes this isn't the case, and another viewpoint character would mess up the scene or break the plot, but again, invert that thinking. What if you haven't picked the best viewpoint character? What if in trying the scene from another character's perspective, you discover something amazing that you hadn't considered? If your novel is in first-person perspective, where you generally only ever have one viewpoint character, then this is still a valuable exercise. Writing a scene from other perspectives, even if they will never be used, can help flesh out your characters. I think writing in first person perspective puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage compared to a multi POV perspective because you don't get as deeply into other characters beyond your viewpoint character. When you have a first person perspective story, you run the risk of having underdeveloped non viewpoint characters because you never write from their perspective like you would do in Third Limited. This exercise is a good way to get around that, even if there's very little chance of these scenes actually ending up in your novel. And there's no getting around the last exercise in the list. Oh, I cut the line in the script that would have made that transition make sense. For this one, I want you to take the total length of your novel as far as word count and calculate what 20% of that word count is. So for an 80,000 word novel, that would be whatever 20% of 80,000 is. Then I want you to write that word length at the start of your novel and extend it out onto the end of your novel. So write the events happening before the start of your novel and the events happening immediately after the end for 20% of the length of your overall novel. Now, this isn't meant to be directly added into your novel. This is just an exercise. There's a few benefits to this exercise. The first is you don't want your characters and world to wink into existence at the start of your novel and then disappear at the end. Your novel is just a segment of the world that you're writing in. You want the story to feel like it started before and continues after in some way. The lives of your characters are like a really big painting, and your novel is basically like taking a 10 by 10 frame and plunking it onto part of that painting. You need to make sure that you've selected the most interesting part of the painting to frame. This exercise will reveal a little bit more of that painting and might make you rethink where you've put that frame. Maybe you start your story just after some climactic event, but after writing that scene, you realize it's actually where the story should start. Maybe your ending doesn't quite do it and needs a bit more, or maybe the ending actually drags on way too much and you can shift your story backwards a little bit. This exercise is really about expanding your thinking about your novel, to take off the blinders and realize that there's a whole big world just beyond the words of your story. That your novel is just the view from a window into a much broader landscape. Wait, I thought the novel was a painting. I'm mixing metaphors here, so that's a sign that it's time to end this video. So there you have it. Go off and give these exercises a try. I think they will genuinely improve your writing and also improve your novel, even if they take a lot of effort. I hope you enjoyed this video and found the advice in it useful. If you want to see more stuff like this, you can check out all my other writing advice related videos and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.